is something I could do. I could be running or I'm chasing you, but I won't, 'cause I got better things to do. Nay, nay. No quiero más, ya no hay nada que me falta, demos nadie se muere, y menos las mujeres, porque es que no quiero más, ya no hay nada que me falta, demos nadie se muere, y menos las mujeres, La vida muy cara para esperar, que alguien te la resuelva. Eso del amor pa' mí no real, te mantieron dando vueltas. Ya no siento nada cuando te veo, pero ese periodo se fue muy feo. Y yo siendo Tauro que bien me leo, yo lo sé, Dicen que tú no eres nada, pero te aman.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of 5Fs to Love. So our conversation tonight, which everyone always loved talking to the men, so of course the men are back tonight, is about whether or not your presentation represents what you're looking for. So as we transition back into dating, like live and face dating, a lot of people are beginning to question a couple things. So this is what the Real Talk conversation is tonight. So as always, you guys know the lineup. So Reverend Gaylon, welcome. How are you?
Doing well. How about yourself?
All right, I'm outstanding. And you guys know Cedric is here. So Cedric, you don't have a margarita tonight?
Not tonight. That's going to be for the after party.
Okay, well, hey, I'm open to the after party. I'm totally open to that. Okay, because that's what it's about, is the after party. And you guys, we have Michael in tonight for Brian. So Michael, welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us here. What's
up, gentlemen? What's up?
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, this is a very hot topic that we're getting ready to have. And we have a special guest tonight, which is Cedric. Welcome aboard, Cedric. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm really excited to have you join this team of guys. They are exceptional. So, of course, we have our viewers popping in. Hello, Denise. Thank you so much for watching. She joins us every week. We're looking forward to your comments. She said, hello to the gentleman. You know, Denise loves you guys. There's going to be a lot of chit chat going on. And they do that. So Cedric, just to let you know, we pop it up in here. Anything that comes on, we pop it up and share it on the screen. Gertrude, thank you so much for joining us. She joins us every week. We really appreciate your support. Okay, so guys, listen, from your perspective, what are you thinking this conversation is going to be about? I'm just kind of curious. From your perspective. And I'm not going to start with Cedric. I'm going to start with Michael. So Michael, what do you think this conversation is going to be about tonight? Like when you heard the title, what were you thinking?
Body image, being, liking what you like.
What you like.
But being able to match what it is that you like. Okay.
All right. So Cedric, I'm going to pick on you next because I have to hold Cedric for last. I just want to be honest because God only knows, right? So listen, so Cedric, what were your thoughts when you got the topic for the show?
Well, my thoughts was, I'm like, like when you see a lady, you see how she's dressed, you see her mannerism and the way she speaks, that gives you a, kind of assess who she is and what she's, kind of about.
Okay, I like that. Okay, Reverend Gaylon, what were your thoughts?
I thought the show was going to be about what a person represents when you initially meet them. That doesn't necessarily mean that's who they really are. But as far as the outer presentation, not just clothes, but also body language, behavior, how to use their voice. It's a lot that goes into outer appearance, not just their clothes.
Okay. All right. So Cedric.
No, it was much of the same of what all the brothers said, but basically, when it comes to appearance, what draws you in and what runs you away.
Okay. I think there's a lot of truth to that. So just to let you guys know, this topic came from me and Eric having brunch. And Eric said, you know what? He says, I wonder what the guys would say if we talked about, is the presentation representative of what you're looking for? So many people are looking for different things. And sometimes, you know, the concept behind opposites attract is true. Opposites do attract. But there's some commonality, some things that you're looking for that's important to you, whether it's physical attraction, mental attraction, spiritual attraction. You're looking for something, and that's what's going to draw you to this person. So, all right, so let's get started.
I want to just interject for a moment.
Yeah.
I don't agree that opposites attract.
You know,
don't think people are honest.
Right. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm totally in agreement with that. I think I want somebody.
I just wanted to put that out there as context for whatever I say later. I believe people complement each other.
Right.
And people view that as opposite, but it's not. It's just complimenting you. You know, you can't have a victim without a victimizer.
I'm going to tell you, somebody said something to me a couple weeks ago, and I kind of sat back and I said, well, I don't gamble. But they made such a big deal about they like to go gamble and go to the casino. To me, that was a waste of money. So to me, it was kind of like, okay, I'm not really feeling this, because if you're just going to be gambling to gamble, and they counted that as an outing. Now, if you're doing it casually, no big deal, but this person made it seem like this is what they do. Like this is a weekend event. Then we don't, opposites, I just don't believe. I like somebody has commonalities with me. And that was too far off. If I'm a gamble, I'm going to go buy me some stocks on E23. We're going to keep it real. That's a gamble to me, right? I don't know about when you just give it away. I don't know what's happening. So I agree with you. So I can't wait to see where this conversation goes. Okay, so our first question for tonight is, when choosing a mate, is the physical appearance a primary factor? And so we're going to start with you, Cedric.
Well, the physical appearance is always, a factor in choosing someone. I mean, you want to wake up to somebody, you don't want to be scared when you wake up every morning, but at least you want something pleasant to the eye, someone that, compliments you. Really.
So what about people who say that your personality counts more than your beauty? Do you think they really mean that?
Well, let's look at the whole thing. So a person can be beautiful but ugly. I've run into a lot of women that they are beautiful, but nothing's up here, and it's like I can't even flow because I can't even have an intelligent conversation.
Okay, because she's basically an idiot. Is that what we're saying? I mean, is that what we're saying? She's an idiot?
Yeah, well, she's on her phone the whole time, and you're trying to, okay, tell me about the news, tell me about what you saw, tell me about what you're into, and you're just on your phone, all engrafted in Facebook or Twitter and all that. So, yeah.
Okay. All right. So Cedric, you had a moment. So what are your thoughts on that?
You damn straight it does. In the immortal words of Sir Mix-a-Lot, I like big butts and I cannot lie, and I won't. So I'm a meat potatoes guy. I am physically attracted to curvaceous sisters. Yes. Okay.
You said curvaceous.
Yes. I like my sisters thick. Yes. But here's the point. Piggybacking on what Kendra just said, really, that appearance will get you in the door. That spirit, that mind, that intellect, and that conversation will keep you there or get you thrown out.
Okay.
But that attraction is everything. Yes.
Okay. So, all right. So, Michael, what's your perspective?
Well, I think that you said physical appearance. Physical appearance, yeah, absolutely. Definitely is a primary factor. It's just that, like you said, when you like what you like, it's being prepared to deal with whether or not she likes what is it you're presenting.
Okay. All right. So, Gaylon?
Well, a lot of psychological marketing goes around men and visual imagery.
Okay.
Excuse me, I apologize. I'm pausing a little bit for the crowd. I had some dental work done today, so I'm pausing and talking a little bit slower than normal. So I believe that physical appearance does matter. Now, what I do think is people like different things.
Okay.
So you can't just automatically say that somebody else's standard will be the gold standard for someone else. People like what they like.
Right.
And I think that as long as you're clear about what you like, then that's an entry, because there could be an attraction at that level. I'm a big believer that people are vibrational. Besides outer appearance, there's something that just attracts you to an individual that opens the door. And then once the door is open, then you get to decide if you want to stay around for a while.
That's right.
Okay,
wow.
and I'm gonna.
Yeah.
I like that concept. So Denise says, "It's the intentional factor, but let's face it. How many times have we encountered someone who is visually appealing, and their personality and behaviors are a turn off?"
That's
More than not.
Okay, so that's what Cedric was at. And so I'm going to be totally honest with you. And I pray to God this person's not watching right now, but I'm going to tell you. If you've watched the show before, everyone knows that obviously there's a certain type that's attracted to me, and I'm attracted to a certain type. And don't say anything, Michael and Cedric. But what happened is that those type of men sometimes end up being airheads. And I'm an intellect. So I say this to say that I'm definitely attracted to someone who is physically fit, and physically fit men are attracted to me. I don't know why you would think that I work out all the time or something. That's not the case. I keep it tight, but it could be tighter. But the thing is, they are, and I'm okay with that. But sometimes they don't have the intellect that's going to keep me intrigued, like in that moment with them and growing with them. So that is, I think a lot of times people just assume because you're beautiful, you don't have to bring anything else to the table. You just have to be beautiful, and that's your attraction. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. So it's nice to hear. What's your thoughts?
I want to say real quick, because I've dated like across the spectrum. So I've dated individuals that have been 400 or 500 pounds, and I've dated individuals that were extremely skinny.
Just like not me.
He's exaggerating, I'm sure.
No. And so
400 or 500 pounds.
Yes, but like Gaylon
let it go,
saying,
Cedric. Let it go.
You're right, let it go.
Like Gaylon was saying, I have learned to experience individuals vibrationally, and it's a unique experience. It was intentional, and in wanting to get past like the physical and to be able to appreciate a person for their essence. And because I was after I read the question, I thought about it. I said, well, there was that 2 or 3 times. So there are individuals that I would say that don't necessarily are locked into a person's physical being, working out and in the gym and and all that stuff.
So Michael, so the question is, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not really attracted to a man. The stomach thing is an issue for me. I just can't get past that. So if you've got a big stomach, I just can't get past that. And I'm sorry, I just can't, because there's too much activity happening. But let me just say this. So how do you make love to somebody who may be 500 pounds, who that vibration is there, but that physical, I'm just keeping it real. Gaylon, you need to be with me on this.
With a forklift.
No, you have fun.
A forklift.
No, you have fun. Excuse me, Reverend. But you have fun. You can use different.
You need hydraulics.
Oils, lubrication.
Oils? You need all of that?
Yeah, because you get into it and you can really like explore the body.
You need oils and lubrication.
Yeah, it's hot.
Okay, it's hot.
Okay,
and all of this is with the lights on, or is it by candlelight?
On
pitch black,
candlelight,
blindfolds.
Yeah. Okay, because it's a person's confidence. I mean, if the person is confident, it doesn't make a difference.
Okay, you're right. Confidence does make a difference. So let me ask you guys, this is not one of our questions, but I think it should be one of our questions. Could you date a person for 30 to 60 days without having sex with them? Just to really, how long can you potentially date someone before you're sexually intimate with them? That's the question. So I'm going to go with you, Reverend Gaylon.
Well, I'm married, so I have no good answer to this other than
well, we know the Bible teaches abstinence. Thank you so much, Pastor.
Oh my gosh, guys, look, Brian is at work and he's dipping in. He said, let's just clear. Too many to deal with. Hey, Brian. He's watching us for work.
Well, everyone.
Let me just address what Cedric just said. One of the things that we have to be mindful of is cultural differences when it comes to decision making, especially around your body. Biblical culture was a culture where women were property. A man went to the father and paid for the woman, and she then became a woman's property. How do we know this? When you read the Ten Commandments, we love to read the first words, but when you get to like the last one about, you should not covet a man's, ox or his home or his whatever, and then like the wife is like fourth. It's women were considered property. So I'm not one of the ministers that automatically just transitions everything over to modern society without at least context. What I tell people legitimately is your body is the temple of the living God. You should honor it. You should treat it well. You should be very mindful about who you share it with, and not just your body, but you have to recognize when you share your body in that way, you're sharing your soul. Energetically, you can disrupt yourself by getting in alignment with people who are not good for you.
Thank you, Reverend Gaylon. And on that note, guys, we'll be right back after this commercial break. And Cedric, when I get back, I'm going to start with you.
All right.
Okay, welcome back. And so, Cedric, we're going to start with you. So, Cedric, what's your perspective? And we got a lot of comments. So as soon as you give your perspective, we're going to go right to comments because Brian has a lot to say.
Okay, well, first, my own personal testimony, yes, I'm able to refrain from sex for whatever amount of days or months that me and my significant other chose to do. I think it purifies and it enlightens what the two people are really all about. If you really want to get to know somebody, you take the sex away and take the money away, what you got left.
Wow. You know, Cedric, coming from you, I'm like having a moment right now. Honestly.
Layers, sister, layers. Okay.
I see. It's like,
but no,
what's happening?
But for real though, I mean, so now that's not necessary for everybody.
Right.
But I think if somebody or two people cannot exercise the discipline to refrain, to enhance, that's problematic in my eyesight. But yeah, so I can, and I think it's great to do so.
Okay. So Cedric, what's your perspective? Can you reframe?
Yes, I can.
But let me ask the question. How long have you guys been able to reframe? I mean, not you, Reverend. We won't get into that. We
My
won't.
only answer is I'm married.
Exactly. We won't get into that. Okay, bottom line, we won't do it. But before I get to you, Cedric, so Cedric, how long have you refrained from having sex with someone? Has it been 30 days, 60 days, 90, 120?
6 months. 6 months.
Wow, I'm impressed.
But that 6 months led to like a 3 to 4 year relationship that was strong.
Okay, I love that. Oh, so Cedric, what about you?
Yeah, I've lasted about 4 or 5 months. 4 or 5 months.
I'm impressed. All right, Michael, what about you?
3 days.
You said what's the longest?
Did you hear what Cedric said?
Yes. He said 3 days. Michael, Michael, how long?
Was it with Bertha? Was it with Bertha?
Come on, we need an answer. We're trying to get it out of you, bro.
You don't want to do Michael. Just remember that.
Okay, exactly. I'm just going to get off of Michael. I'm over it.
Yeah.
So Brian says, I've met too many obstacles to deal with when they're overweight.
Oh my God.
Brian doesn't like the overweight people. I'm not going to say he doesn't like them, but he's not attracted to people who are overweight. And to be honest with you guys, Brian works out a lot. He eats very nutritional food. He makes everything from scratch. He does his own vitamin regimen and all of that's happening. So Michael's on the show, but he's also commenting in comments. He said, not so. Michael also says more cushion for the cushion. And he says all bodies are beautiful. Now, I don't know what's happening, but he's online commenting while he's on the show.
Yeah, well, Michael pushing all night long.
but
pushed
you know what? Going back.
Let me just jump in and say, let's just be mindful that there's some people who genetically have larger body types.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for them to be smaller,
Yes.
I have friends and family members who have always been much bigger. They would have to work out 10 times the amount that I work out to even be close to my size. Some people are born the size of Reggie White and William Refrigerator Perry.
Yeah.
It's not all, sometimes it's genetic, sometimes it's medicine they take. It's not just everybody's being slothful. And I think that's sometimes a perspective that people have. So everybody deserves love.
I'm going to tell you, to be totally honest with you, it takes a lot. I have to work out to maintain the size. If I don't work out, my behind will probably just blow up. Okay. My behind and thighs will blow up. And it really takes a lot. It was so funny. One of my really good friends, male friends, like one of you guys, I said, when you think about me, what's the first thing you think about? She says, well, you always had a small waist. Like, not that I'm smart. It was that I always had a small waist. I was like, that's so crazy. But that's what he thinks. Like, Burkett always has a small waist, which is very unique. But if I don't work out and I don't watch what I eat, it will shift. And that does take a lot. Now, one of the people who I definitely love, and Michael, you know who it is. Who is it? Are you with us in this moment? Because we talk about her all the time. She has a show on Amazon. We talked about her 10 times today.
Oh, Lizzo. I thought you were like, wait a minute, don't get me involved in
my God. I'm seeing myself as it's the person I really admire her. And who is it?
Lizzo.
It's Lizzo. Like Lizzo is like freaking amazing. And regardless, like she does like 20 shows a month. Beautiful. And she's still the size that she is. So to Gaylon's perspective, you're right. It has nothing to do with her as far as her workout or her eating habits. She's on stage popping and rocking and dancing 20 shows a month, and she's the size that she is. But more importantly,
and everything else.
Exactly. But even her dancers. So my thing is, because of her confidence, it makes her even more attractive. Because she's Lizzo. It makes, but you know what? Cedric, everybody has a market. Everybody's got a market.
I don't ask a question. Yeah, you're right.
She's just not your market.
Yeah, you're right about that.
You know what? This is fun. You know what? I love everybody's opinion on the show. Okay, here's our question number 2. When do you think a person should share any physical defects and are that are not visually seen that can impact the relationship?
Ooh, like
When
what?
do you think it could be they can't have children, they have erectile dysfunction, it could be anything.
Up front.
They got diabetes, they got high blood pressure. Like, when do you think they should share these things?
I'll take
Vaginal
that one.
dryness.
Okay, Cedric, what do you think?
Okay, honesty is always the best policy. You need to tell a person what you're working with. Getting it. Instead of playing a whole bunch of games and wasting a lot of time, like, hey, tell them the good, the bad, and the ugly, and then it's their choice to make the decision whether they're going to do with you or not.
I like that. So, Cedric, this is for you. Anissa says, I am here cracking up over Cedric.
I love her.
Okay, Brian is still on a break, so he's joining us. He said, at the very beginning, without question, you should tell someone what's going on with you.
Yep.
So, the reason why I asked this question is because, and I've said this to you guys many times before, in your 50s, when you're a woman, there's 2 things. One, a woman goes through menopause, right? Which changes her body 100%. And a lot of times, she's not as driven to have sex as somebody in their 30s or 40s. So I think there's a conversation you should have in the beginning. And the other thing is, men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s, erectile dysfunction. You need to say that so a woman can decide whether she wants to deal with it or not. Because if you have high blood pressure or diabetes, or you just have mental problems that are affecting you sexually, don't wait until we're 30 days in, I'm hot and heavy, and then I'm thinking a moment about to go down, and you like, wait, I got to tell you something. No. Because, see, I'm the kind of person, I will walk out, because at that point, I feel like you've let me on. Right? And at that point, I'm kind of done with it. I don't even I can't even be empathetic or sympathetic about it, because this entire time you were dishonest, right? So, Gaylon, what were you thinking?
I think we have to define what the beginning is.
First or second date?
No. What I'm saying is this: getting to know someone before you divulge your medical history to somebody, I think is necessary. I don't think everybody
that impacts the relationship.
Okay. That can impact the relationship. You say in the beginning. So
yes,
if a person is saying, okay, we're a couple, then that's defining in the context of this question. Not I met somebody and I'm dating them and we've been on a date or two and I'm going to divulge all of them. If I have things going on, then I'm mindful of that. I think people have to earn your trust, earn the right for you to share certain things. Now, if you get into the space of serious, you get into the space, and let me just be clear, because I think this is where we get things backwards as in humanity. We get to sex before we get to serious,
and that's the reason why I said the conversation.
Right, but hear me, is because people go to sex before they go to serious. People put things out of balance, and conversations that should happen at serious should happen before sex, because people get hot and bothered. I'm not saying it happens. It's life. But that doesn't mean, okay, you meet somebody first, second date and say somebody had some traumatic health issue or whatever, is in the process of overcoming or working through something, that they have to tell all of their business, and then that person might not even date them again. And now you don't even know that if you've told someone your business that will keep your confidence. That's why I'm just mindful of that.
So I'm going to say I agree, and then I disagree, because if you just met somebody, that's true. Like if you just met them at a bar and you're going out with them the next day. But what I'm going to say to you from personal experience, from my perspective, in my 20s and 30s, when I came out of college, guys were looking for women to marry and to start a family. And that was a conversation that was like a given coming out. I couldn't have children. So I made it very clear to men, if I thank you so much, I appreciate, us going out on a date, but listen, before this goes any further, I need to be honest. I can't have children. And if you want to continue to date me, then we need to look at adopting. something, but it's not, I can't carry any children. I
Mhm.
can't have children. So I was honest. And so I'm going to tell you, did it break my heart? Yeah. But to this day, I still have friendships with these people because I was honest.
So Chris,
That problem is not their problem. So my
so
thing is, if
Chris,
I meet a guy right now, and I'm going to let you talk, Cedric, and his
Mhm.
penis don't work, you need to tell me. I don't want to find out 2 months later. Tell me right now and let me make a decision. I could help you. If I like you, if I don't, then I'm out. I don't want to waste time. I don't have time to waste. Go ahead, Cedric.
So here's the deal. Nobody is going to share their deepest secrets during the infatuation phase.
That's correct.
But is
They're
that
going to
fair?
share those. They're going to share those secrets in the "I got you" phase.
Oh,
Because at that point, feelings are involved, not in love, but you got a chance to know who I am. I got a chance to know you. You respect me more than you did during that infatuation phase. So now that I can show you some of my sides that I'm not showing everybody else, you'll have more empathy and won't run like you just said. I'm out. Because now you know that I'm a loyal man, I'm a good man, hardworking man, providing man. And so you're not too quick to say I'm out because I can't get up every time you want me to get up. But as long as I get up when you need me to get up, you'll rock out.
Okay, Cedric,
And
let me be
think,
clear. Let me be clear. There's a difference between a little erectile dysfunction and major. You ain't had nothing happening for 3 years, 4 or 5 years. I'm out.
Okay, well, see,
I don't care.
okay, but
because my thing is,
okay,
I'm having
but
sex.
now you're being very, 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 very specific. We're kind of like speaking about, the general things of what you don't tell up front. Nobody's going to tell you those things during that infatuation phase. And like
But is that
brother,
fair?
and like brother Gaylon said, you have to earn that trust to be told that.
and you'll
Okay,
know
You
what
don't get
time.
that in the first 2 or 3 days. I don't even know you.
Right.
Okay, but let me
Because
ask you a
some women
question.
don't. Some women will stick around and deal with it.
Okay, some will and some won't. If somebody wastes 3
Yes.
months of my time, literally just waste.
It's
I don't have
only
time to
your
waste.
time.
Well,
We're
How was
talking
it a
about
waste,
we're talking
Chris?
about universal we, not Christine we.
okay,
Right,
we're talking about
right.
We're talking about Christine we.
So Christine,
I
I
don't
think
like my time. Let me tell you something, and I'm not the only woman. I'm just standing here talking to you guys as a woman. As a man, you guys think that that's okay, and it's not. We feel like it's dishonest. We rather you tell us. And I told you guys before, I dated somebody who had, erectile dysfunction. I didn't leave him. But the thing is, guess what? He told me on the second date, so I could decide whether I wanted to be in or out.
Well, Christine, let me ask this question.
Yes.
As a woman, real question.
No.
Who do you think holds more secrets going into a relationship? Men
A
or women?
woman. A woman.
Okay. That's all I want to know. I don't even have a backup
I'm not
question.
gonna lie. You guys know I'm transparent. What?
So-
I'm very
And,
transparent.
and y'all
So
y'all will
Christine,
take those secrets to the grave.
To the grave.
Okay.
To the grave.
Is that fair? Is that fair?
But I tell you what, but no, it's a difference between, okay, let me tell you something, Cedric, and this is the honest goodness truth. I know so many women who've gotten married in their late 40s, in their 50s, thinking that they were going to have this amazing relationship. They only got 1 year to 6 months of sex, and now they're with somebody for the rest of that life where they're never going to have that level of intimacy with them, and the person knew it. That's not fair.
But
That's not fair.
But that's deeply within a relationship. I'm not saying on your wedding day, oh, I'm finding out about whatever. I'm saying that in the initial stage of dating, no one is going to share their deepest vulnerabilities.
But when should they share it?
You'll know when. You'll know when. You'll know when the right time.
No, Cedric, when is the right time?
Progress.
Let me ask you a question. Do you want to know now or later that a woman can't have sex? Her vagina, it ain't nothing happening. You loving her, she fine, body rocking, and it's about to go down. Do you want her to tell you then, or do you think she should have told you before you butt naked waiting for it to happen?
I think it's a lot to go in between that, Christine, but okay.
But you know what, Gaylon? But let me tell you something. You're right if people were dating normally. People are not. And like you said, people put sex before the relationship. The sex builds the relationship for a lot of people. Not for me. I can date somebody for a year. I'm good. We don't have to do this because, to be honest with you, I'm a germaphobe. I need to see your body go through transitions, whether, you know, that bump that was on your face is still there or it's going away and it came back. You know, I need to know all of this because I'm a germaphobe. But I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of people, they hook up with people and then you get to know them. Like one guy, this is the honest goodness truth. He dated a woman for 6 months. And he was like, oh, you know, why don't you move in? All of a sudden, she had 4 kids. He was like, I done dated you for 6 months. What do you mean? Where have these kids? Oh, the kids been with my mama. You've been with me for 2 or 3 weeks at a time. I know. See, that's a dramatic moment. Like, so what I'm saying to you is, when do you tell people? So we can just put this on the table. So our folks that's watching the show, is it 2 months in?
I think what Cedric said was on point. You will know, but I think for what you're asking for, some type of time period, I think within those 90 days will be a good time to share some things.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I think the first 90 days, I'll take that as fair. The first 90 days, if somebody told me, then that's fair. But if we get
that
beyond
woman with those kids is just a liar.
Exactly.
Right,
That's the whole point.
exactly.
You go beyond that, you're just a liar. And I don't want to deal with you. This is over. Okay. So now that we got that straight, Christine can move on because I just want to keep it real. Women at 50 and up, we just want to know. That's all. That's what I'm saying. We just want to know what we doing.
So, Christine, what about when we see their houses and everything is all thrown all over the place and everything is a mess? When should we know that?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right there. This is what we're getting ready to talk about, Cedric. What is your deal breaker? So when you walk into somebody's house and it's a hot mess, but she fine like wine after 30 days. Let's say you've been dating her 30 days, but she's been coming to your place. Do you walk away? Or do you say, let me get you a maid? See, to me, that's a fixable situation. I can't fix erectile dysfunction, but I can fix you being nasty. I can just hire a maid. Right?
You can't fix anybody.
And now the other thing is too,
Okay.
I'm gonna tell you right now, if a woman's house is nasty, that body is a question mark. It's a big question mark on that body.
Exactly. And for me personally, I'm a clean guy.
Okay.
I keep a orderly house. Some people say I'm OCD, but no, I'm not. I'm just very clean. I keep a clean house, everything in its right place, shirts, everything, because I'm Marine Corps.
Yeah, okay. Most guys in the military are like that. They're very
trouble.
So anyway, you know, that's like one of the deal breakers for me. Like, I need a clean lady.
Okay, ladies, so if you're listening, Cedric is single. He lives in Baltimore, and he says he needs a clean woman. So we're clear. He needs a clean woman. So, okay, so Mike, when you look at a potential mate, what is your deal breaker for you?
I'll probably say attitude.
Are you participating with us? What's happening?
Yeah. You were talking about. You were just talking about Bertha. That didn't work, so didn't really have anything to talk about that. As far as deal breakers for me probably been a person's being unwilling to forgive, things along that nature. Attitude, being unwilling to forgive, because I say I've been around, so I've experienced love on different levels, different body types. So, but that was the one thing that really bothered me: inability to forgive.
See, I'm going to tell you, always need somebody in your life to keep you grounded. And that's him. That's why I love him. He keeps me grounded. His whole perspective on things is totally different than mine. So he adds common sense to my decisions. I just want to tell you all that. Okay. Before I ask the next person, I just want to say, I was told to call her Francie and not to say Walker. She said, comparing ED to a nasty house is like comparing apples to oranges.
That's true. That's true.
You better give it. I told you, my ladies, we real talk on that. Okay, so Cedric,
not for him, because if a person has OCD, I'm sure that's probably that's probably 10 or 1 on his list.
Exactly,
So
and that's the thing
you have to look at it from different perspectives.
Right. I think through a different lens, you're right, because I'm not OCD, but I do have a thing about germs. Like I'm crucial on that, and it totally freaks me out. And I walked away from a date because it looked like it was a little rash happening,
Right.
and I just couldn't. I just kept focusing on that rash, and I couldn't manage it, and I had to leave because I just wanted to vomit.
Like that, it was like in that Austin Powers movie when that Austin Powers just kept zooming in when that person had to
I know that person. That was me. And they probably thought I was really into him, but I was really upset about that whole. Like, it wasn't right. Okay, so Cedric, what's your deal breaker?
So mine is a little bit different, because there's not just one, but I will say for me, honestly, is an inconsiderate woman and a woman who allows men to continually put their hands on her.
Okay.
Because see, as a man, I know the little tricks that men play because I used to play them. So after that initial, hey, how you doing? Hug, there's no need for him to put his hands on her again. But they constantly touching her leg, touching her arm, putting her small of their back, and that man is right there, or that man is somewhere nearby. So a woman who allows men to continually touch her and she's involved with somebody, deal breaker. And an inconsiderate woman, she doesn't think about me, whatever. She goes to the store, buys her favorite something, and I ain't got nothing. I love Haagen-Dazs ice cream. I go over there, ain't no Haagen-Dazs ice cream or whatever. Specific. I love a considerate woman who's thoughtful and a woman who knows how to keep the men off her. And if not, deal breaker, period.
Okay. Well, you guys heard it from Cedric. We'll be right back after these commercials, and we'll go through what deal breakers we should have in place from Gaylon. Be right back.
Never knew time well spent would reap such sweet nourishment. Never knew if we looked we would see. I never guessed you and me. Never knew that this could be. Can't believe the strength in words we have found. Strength, soft words.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the podcast. So, the last of the conversation, we were looking at what the deal breakers were in a relationship. And of course, Cedric said you can't deal with a woman who allows another man to touch or caress her body when they're out together because that's disrespectful. We had Cedric say that he just cannot deal with a woman that just can't keep a clean house. That's just, he's OCD and he's from the military. He needs a woman that keeps a clean house. And Michael said, Michael, what was your deal breaker? That emotional bond?
Unwilling to forgive.
Unwilling to forgive. So that's what makes you so sweet. I love that about you. Okay, so Gaylon, go ahead and give us what's really happening.
I don't have the answers. All I can say is I think people need to just take a look at a few things. One, is a person bringing you peace or are they bringing you chaos? I'm a big believer that peace should be a deal breaker for anybody in a relationship. That doesn't mean you're always going to get along with someone, but some people are just have disruptive personalities. They just, wherever they go, they just bring chaos. It's sort of like Pigpen on Charlie Brown. The dust always follows them. Some people just have a mental atmosphere of drama.
Yeah.
So if a person is bringing drama consistently to your life, first of all, you have to ask yourself, why are you willing to continue to watch that channel?
Exactly.
Okay, because that drama is feeding you at some level. So I think peace should be first and foremost. Obviously, someone who respects you at a level, knows how to speak to you properly, knows how to respect themselves and respect you. There are people who allow people to speak to them in disrespectful ways. There are people who embarrass their mates in public. To me, all of those things should be deal breakers. And obviously, if you're seeking to build with somebody, if a person is not willing to get together to create a life that you both can co-sign, I think that should be a big deal breaker. And I agree with what the other guys have said as well. You know, you have to know what works for you.
Right.
Okay. You know, some guys I know, if the lady can't cook, they don't want to deal with her, or you know, etc. You got to figure out what it is that you like. And here's the thing. What's funny to me about what people say they like and what they end up with, many times is because they don't know what their bottom lines really are. They have very surface bottom lines. So they don't get beyond the physical appearance. So they end up having people in their space, and they get themselves attached to people who are not necessarily good for you. Like the song from back in the day, everybody plays the fool sometimes. There's no exception to
You'll just be pulling these songs right on out. Just pulling them out. You know, I have to agree with you guys. I think a lot of times, you know, it's the person that you end up dating sometimes is not the person you end up meeting initially. And those layers begin to change as you begin to get to know them. So I think a lot of people should be very wise and clear when you meet someone. That's not always the person you're going to end up with, because we do certain things to attract certain people. And then once they come into your space, what Cedric is saying, you probably thought that one was absolutely amazing. I know some amazing top executive women who, like, honey, they are like runway, but you get to their house and it's like, are you kidding me? You can't even get in the door because it's such a mess, right? But the thing is, you saw them was so coiffed and well put together, you know, always, and then you get to their home and in their mind, they're opening the door because they're accustomed to that. They don't think it's a big deal. They're like, oh, come on in. You know what? You know, we're good. You know, you're like, no, that's not what's happening.
We ain't good.
You know what, Christine? And this is one of the things I think that the ladies that are listening really need to hear. A guy in the moment of this doesn't make sense will turn his brain off to the possibility of this being any more than potentially, excuse the term, a booty call or whatever. They'll turn the moment they see something they really don't like, the level of volume is,
look at this,
leave her alone now or leave her alone real soon. And we'll never verbalize it. This is why women get mad when they say they get ghosted. I'm not saying it's right or wrong.
Right.
But a dude will just like, you know what? They'll call their boys up, be like, man, you won't believe, woo. I'm out.
Get in and get out.
Okay, so
Because
guys,
men
that
are
leads
always- men
that
are
leads
always
right into
assessing.
our next question. Are you willing to give a person a chance that doesn't match your desired needs? So go ahead, Cedric.
Yeah. So when you're looking for someone, you're always assessing them and trying to see if you can live with this the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Some people are great people and they have great personalities. Everything is flowing, but you just can't see you living the rest of your life with them. And it's not that they're bad people. It's just that something is just not flowing, but they're great people.
I like that. And that's so true. A lot of times it's not. So Allison, thank you so much for joining us. She said dirty fingernails. She's out. She can't do it.
It's all mechanics for her.
Okay. She said, what you were saying, Gaylon, Brian said this is true. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes that is important. I mean, let me explain to you from a woman's perspective. And this is going to be a TMI too much information situation, but we got to think about that finger and where it's going to go on our body. And you got dirty fingernails and you all in my secret space with those dirty nails, that's now an infection. So if you constantly have dirty hands and you in my secret space, it's a problem. And it really is. And it's hard to tell people, like, you need to go wash your hands before you touch me. A lot of people get offended by that.
Before you cook food.
Well, no. The secret space is separate than you right. You come walk through the door, you trying to be up in my secret space and your hands is dirty. I tell people, no, you need to go wash them hands. Don't be in my secret space. Okay. Don't do it. So we gotta, that's my thing. So the thing is, are you guys willing to give a person a chance? And so Gaylon just said men turn it off, and women don't understand why they're being ghosted, and which is so true, because you're thinking, well, he just showed it to my house, now all of a sudden he's out. Like, you don't get it. So what's the clue to that? Like, you know, Kendrick, do you get around to exposing what your concerns were, or do you just be like, girl, your house was dirty, I couldn't, or you just don't call him anymore?
Well, I try to assess like why is this way? You know, and if they are just so comfortable in that space, I'm like, like you said, may get a maid for them if you really, really like them. Right. But other time it may be, no, this is not, I don't know, or the history. You don't even know their history. So you start asking questions like, you know, or when you go to the mom's house, is the mom's house the same way? Then okay, of course, this is where she got it from.
Okay, you know what? That's a good perspective. And I'm going to say, if anybody matched me to my mom, they would be sadly disappointed. I don't cook. She was an amazing cook, an amazing homemaker. I can do a great home, and I decorate very well, and I do a clean house. But the cook in that kitchen is fabulous, by the way. But yeah, it's not what's happening. So I have a question for you guys. When you guys do internet dating allows you to set filters to identify your specific desires. Versus in real world, you can't do a filter. The filter is you getting to know them and spending time, versus online, you can filter things out very quickly. So when we think about a lot of people have gone to just internet dating, now real world dating is back. What do you think that looks like? Because you used to be able to filter, and I say that because I can only say this because people have reached out to me in social media, DM all of the social media sites, and literally I feel so much pressure because they're just constantly sending me stuff, right? But that's not how you get to know me. Don't laugh, Michael, because Michael knows the story. And it stresses me a little bit. And I get that once you start doing stuff like this, you become a public person and people feel like it's okay to call you in Messenger, on Facebook, like literally push the button constantly.
What does what look like, Chris? I don't understand the question.
No, but the question is, when you look at people who've been dating online, it's fast. They can filter, I want this, I want that. And then these certain people pop up. Versus in real life, you walk into a club or a restaurant, you can't filter. Right. You walk in and you have to spend time with them. So what does that look like now that we're transitioning with people's mindsets?
I think you can filter. It's just that you come off as being crass or mean or rude, and which just kind of goes back to what we were saying about, you know, your deal breakers and telling a person in the first hour or after 90 days. Internet dating is telling a person literally like within minutes, because you set what it is that you're looking for. They can read what you're looking for, and so you basically go on a list and say, okay, that person's not going to be attracted to me. And in person, you have to have, you know, using tact, you're using your 90-day rule or whatever it is to kind of meter out based upon that person's, you know, responses to your questions, how comfortable you feel with them. And I think that this transition from the pandemic and now we're coming back outright, where people are a little bit more impatient, they're a little bit more, you know, we say that they're saying crazy things, but this is what I've been doing on my phone for 2 years. And so now I have to learn how to dial it back. You know, don't say, hey, you know, all I'm looking for is, you know, no strings attached sex. But now I got, you know, where would you like to go out to dinner? Right. You know, how many, you know, kids you have? What do you do for a living? And, you know, is your house clean or messy? And if it's, you know, messy, that's his thing, you know, he can shut down. Okay, we're just having sex, or I'm going to go the sex route. And so it's about tact. It's about relearning, you know, how the art of communication, because internet is so blatant and cut and dry, seemingly, you know.
It's very cut and dry. Michael, you're so right. Denise said, but you don't have to be that fast. You're right, Denise. You don't have to be, but people are so quick now. And so Francie says online dating increases your options of meeting people. Is definitely an art to it. And a lot of women have been successful with it. And I agree, a lot of women have been successful with it. A lot of men have been successful with it. But my concern is this, is that when you're sending me body part pictures in DM saying this is what you can get if you hook up with me, I'm a little bit concerned. because I don't even know who you are. I've never responded to you, and you're just throwing out flesh pictures. So I'm going to say we're so quick on the marketing and branding, and to what Gaylon said, we're not taking the time to get to know people. I am so old fashioned. I need you to court me. I just need you to date me. You just talk to me, find out what I like, what I'm about. But I do know a lot of people who have met people online and it worked out.
And Chris, if I can jump in, me personally, I don't do the internet dating. I don't value it because it's just snapshots of somebody at their best look, their best dress, their best event, their best this, and that's not every day. So it's not real. It is not real. They'll be in their 50s and they're showing pictures when they were 32 or whatever. So going back to what's a deal breaker on and how does like dating in the real world look?
32-year-old pictures.
For real though. If that grown ass woman can't put her phone in her purse and enjoy a conversation over dinner, deal breaker.
Oh yeah, that's not that. That bothers me tremendously.
Yes, yes. So, as you said, courtship. That means spending time, sharing different ideas, conversations. Yeah, so that's the real world, not that snapshot from your photo edited, filtered picture. No.
So, Cedric, what's your thoughts?
And actually, online dating is. I've had so many cases where I've had deal people who have met people online.
Yeah.
Their house, and it's just a mess. So I've had so many cases, and I think it's very, very dangerous.
Okay, Cedric, can you explain to people what you do? They when you say cases, they're not understanding what you do. Can you please?
I'm in law enforcement.
So those cases, ladies, you need to be beware, and I think it's so important that you do think about those things. And by the way, I'm not sponging dating apps at all, because my dating app, 5F's to Love dating app, will be out very soon, and I would like people to utilize it. For instance, says there's automatically blocked. That's part of the vetting process. She also says that it's definitely not for everyone. And so Denise said the show, they show you their representative online.
Yeah.
You do the same thing in person, though. You do the same thing in person. You figure out what it is that a person likes, if you're good at it, and you become that person. And
but how do you do that? How do you do that? Like you showed them like a picture from your 30s, and you don't look like that.
No, I'm saying in meeting a person in person, you're putting on your best, your best hair, your best jeans, shirts, whatever. You're dressing up to look the part, to look, attractive or presentable to that person. And when you get home and the next day is not necessarily the person that you wake up with, depending upon, what they've added and now have, taken away during midnight.
So Mike, so are you saying when you go out with a sister, you're dressing up to look good for her, not yourself?
Michael just looks good, really, period, when he goes out.
Of course.
I'm just keeping it real. Okay, guys, give me 1 second. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And guys, this is our promo for next week's show. Okay, guys, we're back. And so that's our promo for next Friday's show. And I would love for you guys to tune in. We love to hear from our viewers. So we're back. So, guys, you know, when you look at overall the concept of relationships, marriage, and the direction that things are going, I think people making the transition from online dating to reality, to Michael's point, you become the person people want you to be. So are you clearly attracting? Are you providing your representative? I mean, the title of our show today is your presentation representative of what you're looking for in a mate? And so are people pretending to be something? That was the thing I wanted to ask. Do you guys think people are pretending to be something? Obviously, a lot of people may be. I mean, Cedric, you and I, we had a show about this, but you and I talk about this all the time. And you actually talked about it, where women are taking off all these different things, and by the time you get to the real them, you like, are you kidding me? Right?
Yes.
And I mean, sisters, let me keep it real with you. Sisters, I don't have anything against hair pieces, eyelashes, makeup, adding booty implants, breast implants. I don't have anything, body sensors, nothing like that. But the thing is, when you do all of that and the man sees you without all of that, it's a different conversation. Like, would they have actually fallen for you if you didn't have all of that? And I don't wear that stuff, because my thing is, I am who I am. If you don't like my butt and my thighs the size that they are, then I'm not the sister for you. You got to move on. I don't wear wigs. You know, unless my hair fall out, I'm not wearing a wig. And I have worn wigs because I have alopecia, you know, and my hair falls out occasionally. But
be your authentic self at all times and embrace it.
Oh, you know what, Cedric, there you go. Be yourself at all times and embrace it. So, Gaylon, what's your thought on that? When because the title of our show is, are you attracting what it is that you want? Like, you're representing that. And people do put on those different things to get what they want.
Well, actually, I had a couple of things. One was very pastoral, and the other one was just funny.
Oh, well, let's
start with the funny and deal with the pastoral. So in the early 90s, there was a song out by a group called named Black Sheep. It was a rap group. They're known for The Choice Is Yours, but they had another song called Strobe Light Honeys. And the song was about meeting someone in the club in the strobe light, and you really can't see what they look like. And then when you see them in real light, the hook of the song was, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go. And the lady said, don't go. He's like, something ain't right. It's the strobe light.
God, that's a song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what made me think about it initially. Now, a more spiritual answer. I do think that there is value in putting on the best version of you when you meet someone. When a person is like, okay, I'm not even going to try, that tells you something.
Yeah.
So I think there's a difference between being exceptionally phony and putting your best foot forward. I think that shows that a person cares about themselves, first of all, that they're going to show up right. You show up in certain places, you want to look a certain kind of way to represent yourself properly. So I think that's great. The question comes into play is this. Once you get past that initial presentation, what can the product match the marketing?
Oh, you know, I like the way you put that. Can the product match the marketing? And that's so important in this day and age. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Again, ladies, I'm not against anything that you're doing to attract men. I'm 100% not against it. But my thing is, at some point, you're going to have to be the real you. And you don't want that person to fall in love with you and you become emotionally attached to them and they walk away. And that's even for the men. A lot of men are getting that hair that's not theirs because they don't want women to know that they losing their hair. It's going to be one day that hair come off, bruh. Okay? And I
have to admit, I don't understand black dudes who get hair pieces. I'll be the first to.
Oh no, you can get it weaved in. Like the barber does.
When I see that stuff online, I'm like, whoa, like
ridiculous.
So that's the thing. So at some point, you know, during sex, after sex, you on vacation, you get in the pool, you get it wet, it's gonna come off. So my thing is, just be you. I'd rather know that you're bald. I'm not gonna fall in love with your hair. That's not what it's about. But yeah, a lot of people go through that. And what really hurts me a lot is that women are going and getting stuff done to their bodies. And the more I talk to you guys, you're like, we don't even want that.
No.
We don't even want it. No. Why are they doing it?
No.
When the wig comes off and you see the cornrows, that's it.
But
Did you
Yeah,
say
but-
cornrows?
Yeah, but Christine,
It has-
what you got to be mindful
it
of
has-
is this.
Yeah.
We're a particular age demographic.
Yeah.
They are with the, keeping up with the Kardashians crowd.
Yeah.
They view their beauty standards could be different because they grew up with Instagram.
That's
they grew
true.
up with Snapchat.
That's true.
They grew up with Nicki Minaj becoming famous by inflating her behind.
That's
Not
true.
knocking Nicki Minaj, but
Right.
she's made up all the way.
All the way.
Okay. So people think, okay, a person can legitimately use her as an example to say her talent wasn't enough until she had a large bosom and a large behind. Unfortunately. So older guys might say, you know what? Sisters never had a problem having curves. But the newer guys are like, I don't care how she get those curves as long as she gets them.
Yes, that's
So
true.
I think that we do have to be mindful that generations speak to what they like. And if you're a 22-year-old guy or gal, what you like is going to be highly influenced by social media.
It is. You're right. So, Michael, what's your thoughts?
And I say with the advent of social media, there's also groups where you don't have to go through all of those changes. There's groups for chubby chasers. There's groups that like, super thin. There's groups that like,
I love you, Michael.
I mean, you name it, there's a group for it. Just saying.
So Michael is saying, don't go get the surgery. Just find your group.
Find your tribe.
Hey, what's the Chubby Chaser website, Mike?
I can't do it. I can't do it. Cedric, I'm done. Don't do it. Anissa says, with the magical makeup skills that ladies have these days, I feel sorry for the men. Sometimes when the makeup comes off, the woman look really hurt in the face. That is serious misrepresentation. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I mean, I think I'm attractive, but honey, okay, we're gonna keep some real. It's some light foundations on this. Okay. But I'm not all to the point. I watched a woman where it totally transformed her face.
Yeah.
And I was like this. I said, well, I can't do that. How do I do that? She had cheekbones and it was like 20 layers of makeup. When you take it off, she looked like Shaquita. I don't know what was happening. But anybody named Shaquita? I'm not saying anything about you if your name is Shaquita. Okay, so Denise says, I'm using that. Thank you. I'm not sure who she was talking about, but I think it popped up when Cedric or
I think she was talking about what I said, can the product match
right.
the market?
There you go. And that's true. Can the product match it? She says, we're advocating authenticity, but concealing ED. Isn't that a double standard? You know what?
Thank you, Francine.
Who's concealing it? Nobody's saying that.
He's saying, look, if we got an issue with women coming through the door with all of this extra, what about ED? What's up with that? We can't just.
I don't think a medical condition is the same.
Yes.
Makeup on.
And
because you all are men.
More to sex than intercourse.
No,
exactly. I'm just saying that. I just think it's not the same thing. That's again
away from the fried chicken.
I don't even know. Denise said, can the product match the marketing? That's what she said. Can the product match the marketing? Gertrude said, I also agree. So let me tell you guys, again, to a woman, it's a different perspective than a man. A man is like, to you guys, a woman puts on all of these things. And I'll be honest with you. I've seen women who I know are not that shapely, and I see them out and I go, OMG, like, wow, she must have lost a lot of weight. But then the next time I see her on real day, it's back to the real person. So I'm going to say this to you. If it's dramatic for me and I see that as a woman, God, you guys are totally visual. You're like, oh, I'm about to tear that up. She hot like fire. And when it all come off, that waistband, that cinches, you just like, this is what we really working with. So I'm going to say, ladies, really understand that they're not expecting you to look like something off of TV. You know, Beyonce's Beyonce. She's got a personal trainer. She's got a nutritionist. She work out all the time. That's Beyonce. They're not expecting us to all be Beyonce. They're just expecting us to be us. You know, and one of the things that I love about what one of my really good friends said, you know, he was like, a little cellulite we expected. You're not 20. You're not 30. You're not 40. You're 50. We expecting to see. You might see some on me. You know, my body's not perfect. So my thing is to what Reverend Gaylon was saying, get to know the person you're with. All of these guys say that they've waited at least 120 days up to 6 months to be with a person. Take your time. We're rushing into these relationships, and what Gaylon said, we're putting sex first and trying to get to know the people later. Don't do that. Let's go back to the old standards in that way. And I'm going to tell you, there was a time where Black marriages was the Mecca. You couldn't walk down the street where there wasn't a Mr. and a Mrs. in a house, right? Raising their kids. And we somehow have gone through that transition where we just willy-nilly going through mates. I know people who've been married 6 times. I'm like, can I get one on the books? 6 times? Like, what is happening? You on 6? But the thing is I think because we hunger for that companionship, for that love, to be loved by somebody, that we're overlooking a lot of things that potentially we could live with. Like Cedric said, a deal breaker for him is the house. But if he's lonely enough, he may be like, I get her a cleaning lady. But guess what? That's just one. It could be something else. And you can't always keep walking away. So as we close out, Cedric, I save you for last because, it's always amazing what comes out of that mouth of yours. And Michael, I'm going to go with you because you're just so adorable. Not because you're my brother, but because you're adorable. So what's your closing remarks for tonight?
Oh, wow. Just be you. Be your authentic self. And if you're true to your authentic self, you can't help but to allow that person to come into your life.
I love that. See how adorable he is? All right. So, Cedric, what's your closer?
A closer is, like Michael said, be who you are and be committed to, if that's what you're going to do with someone, talk to them, spend time with them, and then, move forward in the relationship if it's the right fit. If it brings chaos, like the pastor said, if it brings chaos and don't bring peace, it's time to go.
I love it. All right, so Gaylon?
I said it earlier, the product has to match the marketing. So, and that's not just on their part, but on your part. Because if you're presenting yourself to be something other than who you are, that's false advertising. And I think the reason why people get upset with dating and relationships is because they continue to bump into inauthentic people. Now, the only other thing I would say is this. Some of the reasons why we bump into inauthentic people is because we're inauthentic people magnets. And we have to be very mindful that we have set the qualifications that we don't see any of the pause moments. Life doesn't always give you red lights, but it will always give you yellow lights. And so as you're seeking to engage with somebody, you should be paying attention. Is this go? Yellow. For some people, yellow means slow down. For some people, yellow means accelerate so I don't have to deal with this red. It might work with your car. Maybe.
Work in relationships.
It won't work with relationships. When you see the yellow, slow down. Life is trying to tell you something.
I love that, Gaylon.
I just made it up just then. So,
but thank God we've got it on tape because I'm going to use that as a soundbite. Cedric?
Yes, I would just say, don't be an illusion. Just be you. Embrace you. Love you. And when you love and embrace self, you can walk into a room with a bald head with nothing but confidence. You can walk into a room with a shaved head or short hair or kinky hair and confident because you are embracing the total you. And when you love who you are and embrace who you are, you'll draw folks who can respect that and love that to you as well. But when you're that illusion, the unauthentic brings the chaos.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about Francisa. Can you walk in there with ED though, as confident like that?
Well,
if a person is dating,
that's not my problem. So I can't speak to that.
No, I'm just saying. No, I'm saying a man should.
I think if a person if a man is dating and they have that experience, they should go to the doctor before they ever get back into dating. They should deal with that. I will say that in all fairness. Yeah. That should be at least you should be aware and addressing the issue. Right.
And so, Chris, I will say for sisters like you and the sisters who are weighing in about the ED, you guys should get business cards that says full disclaimer, functional dicks only, and I can't cook.
stand you. I can't take it. Okay. So Gertrude said, I laughed a great deal tonight. Thank you, Gertrude. Thank you so much for watching. Denise says, do you think we can have a mixed panel of men and women and make it 2 hours? Of course we can, Denise. Let me see if I can put that together. I think that would be great. Denise also said, she said, Emmy has had a song titled Lies. The lyrics are profound.
Wow.
And your girl did a shout out back at you, Cedric. Functional dicks only.
That's right.
And so I'm going to say to you guys as men, again, women are very nurturing, very loving and caring. And I'm going to be honest with you. If you're honest, if everybody's honest when you come to the table, it just gives you an opportunity to have a real relationship. And that's not about the clean house or anything like that. I'm just saying, don't wear the toupees. Don't always wear, the hair pieces, the eyelashes, the body censures. If there's something that's stopping you from having a great sexual, intimate relationship with somebody, just be honest about it. Don't allow a person to continue to move forward in a relationship. And then it's a surprise because, like Gaylon said, at that point, it's just a lie. Because you kind of really deleted something major. A lot of people bond intimately with people. A lot of people do. That's what really brings that tightness between you. And if you can't share that experience with them, then that might be an issue. And the person could have already fallen in love with you, right? There's a difference between I need to get you a maid. I may not be able to get you somebody to fix this part, right? So what I'm saying is there are a lot of women out there who don't have a high sex drive, who don't have a problem dating a man who does not have a high sex drive. You just like Mike said, go find that group, find your tribe.
That's right.
Go find that group. But you should not be out there, like Gaylon said, before you decide to walk out in a generic space and you see people like me and Francine out there, we don't know what's happening. And I those are my questions. Y'all know my questions when I start talking to people. So I need to know that. Of course, I want to put that again, functional dicks only. That's one of the viewers. I love her. She said, honesty was so truthful. I appreciate your answers, guys. And I tell you all the time, I like everybody's different views. Denise said, she said, I have been enlightened once again. Best hour on a Friday night on Facebook. Thank you. We're going to use your quote, Denise, in the promo that goes out. I'm going to say, guys, thank you so much for spending this hour with me as always. Gaylon, you are amazing. If you guys want to see something, he's at Christ Universal Temple. You can always Google Reverend Gaylon McDowell. He has plenty of information available for you on YouTube. He also has a show that's going to shift over. So you guys will see the new commercial next week for his new podcast show. True Transform is absolutely amazing podcast. I've been a guest. I listen to it. We always, those lessons that you give, Mike, when I use the lessons, by the way, for us to kind of talk throughout the week, and they're very informative. Just to let you guys know, Cedric has this glamping experience. When I tell you in Idlewild, Michigan, African-American folks, Caucasian folks, Latino folks, Chinese folks, whatever the folks are, he welcomes everybody. It's an amazing weekend. It's an absolute blast. And believe it or not, it's all outside. But we're going to have that commercial premiere next week. Cedric, I cannot thank you enough for coming on tonight and joining this crew of guys. I hope you had a good time.
I did. I really enjoyed myself.
I absolutely love it. And Francie, thank you so much for that comment. She said we had a great show. Thank you so much for joining us. So guys, as we go out, I just want to say to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us on the 5 F's to Love. I don't take that you guys could be spending your time doing something else on a Friday, but you spend it with me and you spend it with the team and all of the different shows that we have on Friday. And I do appreciate it. I'm going to close out this evening saying this to you guys. The whole point of this podcast is to have real conversations. It's not at any point indicative of anyone being seen in a negative image. It's so that we understand that there are different opinions out there of what people want and look for. So to be honest and transparent at this point is so important because it kind of removes that concept or belief that you have to be something that you're not. And from everyone's feedback tonight, from Kendrick looking at it from a law enforcement perspective, the online dating, the face-to-face dating, from Reverend Gaylon giving us awesome advice on what we should and should not be doing. The bottom line is we all agreed on one commonality. Take your time. Go back to dating. Remove the sex and have the conversations. You never know what's going to come out of it. And by the way, you can always use my compatibility app because it helps you find out the things that you have in common and the things that you need to work on. So I'll see you guys next week. And thanks again for joining us here at the 5S to Love podcast. Real Talk with the Men. Next week is Real Talk with the ladies.
My name is Christine Burkett, the inventor of the 5 F's to Love. This is a compatibility app. It's an app that gives you an opportunity to rate words that start with the letter F in chronological order of importance to you, to help you find your one true love, your soulmate, and the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So after you've taken the time to rate your F's in chronological order, you send a link to the person, I don't know, you just met, or the person you've been dating for quite some time. Or maybe it's the person you've been married to for 30 to 40 to 50 years. And then you compare your top 5 F's to find out what things you have in common and things that you may perhaps need to work on. This is taking a simplistic perspective on how to find your one true love